Hello, and welcome to my inquiry project, incorporating podcasts within multidisciplinary classrooms by, of course, me, Ross Mumford. In order to know what this project is about, it's important to know what podcasting is. Podcasting is a technological strategy that allows students to learn content from a portable music or video player at any given location and at any given time. You can cover content such as words, concepts, ideas, and/or facts. The important thing to know about podcasting is that it can be done whenever and wherever, and it's transportable from location to location. Podcasting is used as a supplementary tool used to support information already introduced in class. Now, podcasting can introduce information, but it is also used to reinforce information. Here are reasons why it's beneficial. It's inexpensive to produce, simple to use, portable, reusable, and beneficial to auditory learners. This is from S. Michael Pittman and Tara Kingsley. In order to guide my research, I asked the following questions. How can podcasting be utilized across multidisciplinary classrooms? What is the effectiveness of using podcasts? Have students at Nebraska Wesleyan University used instructional podcasts? And how do Nebraska Wesleyan University students value the use of podcasts in various classroom settings? In order to gain more information on what podcasting is, I looked towards literature reviews and articles to find more information. I selected 4 major articles, one about science, one about English language arts, music and visual arts, and finally one about mathematics. Every study conducted had incorporated either 2 fifth grade classrooms or 2 higher education classrooms. All had comparison groups where one group had podcasting, while the other ones did not. In order to conduct their research, they used interviews, surveys, and their own observations. Based on what they found that podcasting is highly important in terms of retention and recognition, for it increased in terms of effectiveness of education, regardless of subject matter. For my own research, I looked towards creating surveys on Google Forms, which I asked 12 questions. In order to collect the data, I used tick boxes, short responses, and rating disciplines across multiple classroom settings. Now, if you will look, you will see the following survey that I submitted to 50 Nebraska Wesleyan students. Please notice in detail of all the questions that I've asked. As you continue looking, please feel free to pause the podcast in order to view each one of these pages separately for their own merit. And finally, this is the last page of the survey sent out. Now we will look towards the data collection. For this project, I selected participants from Nebraska Wesleyan University, ranging from Year 1 students to Year 4 students. Now, even though there are 50 participants asked, only 20 participated in the actual survey conducted. Their age ranged from 18 to 23. All of the students selected were Caucasian and ranged in status from middle to upper middle class. Each one of these students varied in their degrees in terms of whether they were business, music, and/or education. Each one of these students also varied in their background in terms of their educational upbringing and exposure to podcast systems. For the data analysis, I used Google Forms. The questions 1 through 4 emphasized how many have actually had experience with podcasting and whether or not it was effective. And through that, I was able to find percentages. For questions 5 through 6, it focused on how many generally view it as an effective tool. Now, this is a very interpretive section, but it gave key insight into what people view podcasting and how they view it effectively. The final set, 7 through number 12 questions, I was able to use the median, which is the middle number, the average number, the mean, and the mode, the most common number, to deduce whether or not students found it to be beneficial or not beneficial according to the discipline, for they were able to rate it between 1 and 5. Based on what I found, 20% answered yes to podcast experience. As you look below, here is a graph that demonstrates how many students said yes to podcast experience. Of that 20%, I was able to find out how many used it in their high school, elementary, and/or middle school levels. The most common grades for podcasting to be utilized is 10th through 12th grade, where we found 100% of the 20% where podcasting was used. 75% said they used it in 9th grade, and 7th grade and 8th grade each got 25% rating. From this information, we were able to find out that podcasting was severely underutilized in the elementary level. In terms of disciplines, we discovered that social studies had the highest amount of use of podcasts, which ranked up 75% of the 20%. Mathematics and science averaged a 50%, while music and computer media took each 25% for the use and implementation of podcasts. Again, of that 20%, 80% found it to be somewhat effective, while others found it to be an effective tool ranging around 20%, according to how they saw podcasts utilized within the classrooms previously mentioned. We asked students to describe how effective podcasting could be within the classroom. Here are some quotes. By allowing students an extra opportunity to hear a lecture, explanation, or discussion. Also, could allow students to learn in different environments, not only the classroom. Here are some more quotes. Very helpful for students who miss school regularly. Helpful for auditory, visual, and kinesthetic learners. Now that part was a summary of 3 different quotes. And finally, podcasts could be an entertaining and cost-effective way for teachers to give resources to students. Based on these quotes, we discovered that students at Nebraska Wesleyan University typically view podcasting as a very important and effective asset to education. As previously mentioned, questions 7 through 12 asked students to rank from 1 to 5 the effectiveness and benefits podcasting could have according to different disciplines. For mathematics, the mean is 3.7, the median is 5, the mode is 5. Based on these results, where 5 is least beneficial, we discovered that students at Nebraska Wesleyan University view mathematics as a course that would not benefit from podcasts. As we continue, we look towards English and language arts. The mean was 2.45, median was 2, and the mode was 1. Based on this, we can see that Nebraska Wesleyan University students view podcasting as a very effective tool for English and language arts. In terms of science classrooms, the mean is 2.95, the median is 3, and the mode is 3. This strongly indicates to us that students at Nebraska Wesleyan University view podcasting as neither a negative nor a positive for science classrooms. To continue, social studies, the mean is 2.1, median is 2, and mode is 2. As you see by these two, the overall census of podcasting effectiveness within these disciplines is average across all students. And for social studies in particular, they see it as a more beneficial aspect to education. Within the music discipline, the mean is 2.8, median is 2, mode is 1. Here, students can clearly see the benefits for music as podcasting is an auditory and visual learning tool. For art, the mean is 3.7, median is 4, mode is 5. This strongly contrasts music, for students view this as a very ineffective classroom for podcasting. Based on the results we saw, we were able to make some conclusions. Podcast is an effective instructional tool for facilitating content outside the classroom area. Based on scholarly articles and survey results, we discovered that podcasts can go beyond basic language skills to help students learn mathematical equations, scientific theories, musical idioms, and art concepts. From our surveys, we were specifically able to see how English and language arts, social studies, and music classrooms can gain the most and have the most benefit from podcasting, while students at Nebraska Wesleyan University view mathematics and art courses as having the least amount of benefit. Overall, we can trust that Nebraska Wesleyan University students, based on their previous experience and their understanding of podcasting, that they can see it as a benefit for both students and teachers, hopefully helping to create more structure within the classroom and speeding up the process of learning, for we won't be constrained to just a classroom setting. It also helps with memorizing and retaining, which could in fact increase test scores and overall understanding and comprehension of material. As the study finished up, I looked towards further inquiry and where this project could go even further. One aspect that could change would be the participant pool, for I could also survey teachers and find out their implementation strategies as well as the current effectiveness of podcasting within their classroom. I could also survey K through 12 students where they have a fresh current perspective on podcasting within the classroom. Also, I could have conducted interviews instead of just limiting myself to a survey. Through interviews, I would be able to find first-hand accounts and personal statements that really fully detailed what podcasting means to them within their classroom. Also, interviews would allow me to survey way more questions and have unlimited amount of resources in terms of information. Finally, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Hopefully you have gained a better understanding of podcasting and its effectiveness and use within the classroom. Also, please utilize this podcast to help you learn more at your own pace, for this could be used whenever and wherever you are.